come on. Oh, finally. Hey, Creepy! Where the hell have you been?
Decker? Listen, can I call you back? Now's really not a good time.
I've been trying to call you for months. Did you block my number or something? I couldn't get through every time I called you. Just sent me straight to your voicemail. You weren't answering my texts either.
What? Oh, sorry. I got a new phone a while back.
Oh, yeah!
Hang on.
Okay, I'm back.
Sorry about that.
Everything okay on your end? There's some background noise.
I'm fine, it's just...
Some of you left a mess in my backyard. Of course. All by myself while Godmother's like, shit! Hold on, just for 1 second again.
Buenos Finite!
Okay. I should be able to talk now. Thanks for waiting.
So, what's this about people on your channel thinking I'm dead?
I just called you to ask the same thing. It's been months.
Yeah, well, I've been busy.
I started up a new channel a while back. Been trying to make a go of it on my own again.
Oh, I see.
So, could I do something for you?
Yeah, have you sent me anything in the mail recently? Like, within the last month or so?
No, Decker, I have not sent you any sex toys. Not now or ever, despite what you may think.
I got this horror movie I've never heard of before in the mail. Mind giving me a hand reviewing it?
I suppose I could.
Let me go change and I'll set up my recording equipment.
Great.
Oh, and Decker?
If I didn't give you my new cell phone number, how did you get a hold of it?
Gotta go, bye! Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair. Now, there's been a long-standing debate over violence in video games and the effects this has on gamers, practically since the gaming genre just began. And it is no great secret that Hollywood has explored this on multiple occasions, though with varying degrees of success. The idea that the subconscious mind can confuse fantasy with reality and thus influence human behavior can be, frankly, terrifying. When pulled off correctly, this makes for some truly epic horror that raises questions about our perceptions of the world around us and what it even means to be human. Oh, there you are, Creepy. You're just in time. I was giving the opening statement.
Good for me. So, what's on the docket for today?
Stay Alive, released in 2006 and both directed and co-written by William Brent Bell.
Sounds like one of those direct-to-video releases that you'd pick out of the bargain bin at a retail store. I get the feeling whoever sent that to you wasn't doing you any favors, Decker.
Probably not, but it's not like people expect a lot of great high-quality movies on my channel anyway.
Well, that's for damn sure. Hashtag Summer of Seagal.
So, where's Chibi Thulu?
Oh, he and Kendall have been glued to the laptop ever since they announced that new Steven Universe episodes were coming this summer.
If you could only know what we really are.
Actually, I'm getting worried. It may be time to check both of them into a 12-step program.
Oh, well, whatever. Let's take a look at Stay Alive and hope that we can stay alive.
Or, at the very least, stay awake.
We open with some rather crummy CGI, unless this is meant to be in-game graphics, in which case it actually looks pretty damn good. I mean, hell, the only game I can think of that had graphics that looked anything remotely like this was the Resident Evil remake on GameCube. Though that came out in the 6th generation, and 2006 was the 7th generation of consoles, so, damn.
Your dream has finally been realized, Decker. You can at last ogle Jill Valentine's breasts in HD from a whole decade ago.
We have just enough time to watch this player character get chased around by the bastard offspring of Chucky and that girl from The Ring, before he gets tossed off the second floor banister and hung from a chandelier. This reveals the none too surprising twist that the whole scene took place inside of a video game.
Play this new game called Stay Alive.
Seriously, man, sick as shit since Fatal Frame.
Hey, did you hear that? I play video games!
If I recall correctly, Fatal Frame 2 is considered the superior game by most in terms of gameplay and fear factor.
You know, the real horror of Fatal Frame is having Nintendo of America steal away your game rewards.
Decker, They were 15-year-old girls in bikinis.
I want them! But getting back to the movie, Loomis Crowley here, played by Milo Ventimiglia,
Ventimiglia.
whatever, is on the phone with his best friend since childhood, Hutch, played by John Foster. Naturally, such a long-standing friendship will have vast consequences on the overall plot of this story as we watch these two characters. Oh, never mind, he's dead.
And we see the overarching kill gimmick for this movie. If you die in the game, you die for real.
Well, great, thanks for ruining any potential tension this movie had.
Oh yeah, Loomis had 2 roommates. They died in the game, so they're dead now. But they didn't really do anything to impact the story, or anything else for that matter.
Oh, come on, Creepy, what about the pig sex scene?
Shit, man, don't you knock?
That left an impact, right?
More than it should have. What is it with you and anthropomorphic sex scenes anyway? First apes, now this. It's like you're a closet furry or something.
The next day, Hutch goes to his job as an office grunt. In actuality, Hutch's job consists of providing his boss, Miller, played by Adam Goldberg, with game tips.
Because, despite not looking that much older than Hutch, Miller has apparently never heard of game facts.
Now the walkthrough says I dumped the ammo on the boss dies.
Dump the ammo? Like shoot them, or literally dump the ammo? Because most game final bosses require you to beat them. They don't do that for you.
I'm sorry, we're not still talking about Silent Hill 4, are we?
Well, yes.
What version of Silent Hill are they playing?
I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, you got the Hyper Blaster.
Do I look like an asshole? Yes, I have the hyper blaster.
What the fucking Silent Hill is not about being a super soldier. It's about being a normal guy who hardly even knows how to use a gun being chased by monsters. That's what makes it scary.
Yeah, dump it. I mean, it's got unlimited ammo.
Nothing in normal gameplay of any Silent Hill game has unlimited ammo. And if it did, why would you dump it?
No. I need it to get to the final boss.
Well, and beat her straight up. It's the way God intended.
The final boss in Silent Hill 4 was, at best, neuter, but made from the remains of a male character, so it wasn't a she. And unless I identify as female, in which case, hey, that's their right, and I'm not getting in the way of that.
To summarize, the writers took the time to insert a line invoking gamer misogyny, but couldn't be bothered to check a freaking Wikipedia page about the game they're referencing.
It's easier to kill her without the blaster than it is to with it. So just lose her right before going down the stairs. She'll die on her own. Game over.
While Decker takes his happy pills, Hutch gets a phone call alerting him of Loomis's untimely demise. Being that this was his friend and closest confidant, Hutch takes time out from grieving to hit on a nearby stranger.
Did you just take a picture of me?
I did.
Of course she did. They're referencing Fatal Frame. Be glad they're not referencing Luigi's Mansion, or else she'd walk up to him with a vacuum cleaner and try to suck him up. You
just turned this movie into a really weird porno.
As we still need some way for the killer video game to continue taking victims like some high-tech Jumanji, Loomis's little sister Emma, played by Lauren Lorbeck, just hands Hutch a huge handbag holding heaps of... Fuck, there's no word for a game that starts with H.
You don't want this?
Well, Mom and Dad won't let me play those video games. They were gonna toss them, they were too violent.
But they were just gonna throw them away? Games cost money, but what, they just wouldn't let her play it? Why?
Decker, ESRB rating system.
You mean there are actually parents who pay attention to those? Well, if that's not the most unrealistic thing about this movie, I don't know what is.
Conversing with a hot blonde isn't enough to console Hutch, so he seeks comfort among those who truly understand him. Internet cafe patrons. This is October, played by Sophia Bush, and her brother Phineas, played by Jimmy Simpson.
He was murdered, him and 2 of his friends.
Holy fucking shit, really?
Let's go ahead and get this out of the way, shall we? Phineas is a tool, and October is obviously a goth.
Who talks to their brother like that anyway?
Somebody with an idiot for a brother.
The girl's parents named her October? They must have been planning ahead.
Lighter works.
Oh yeah, and Hutch has a problem with fire.
Digging through their deceased friend's possessions, Phineas finds the game Stay Alive, and damn, that is some shitty cover art. Even unreleased independent games with no clear launch in sight have more than just a blank white slab with some scrawled-on magic marker for the title.
If Loomis was indeed testing this game, that means It is barely legal.
So, why is he fucking the game?
If that game hasn't been rated by the ESRB system yet, Phineas could go to jail for statutory rape.
No big loss. The group decides to have a gamer's wake, as it were, in honor of the departed Loomis. Hutch invites Abigail, the weird photographer woman from Loomis's funeral, played by Semery Armstrong. They are also joined by...
Jesus Christ. Did you come out and play?
Holy shitballs and hogo-sticking Jesus freak, it's Frankie Muniz. Someone just kill me now.
Kill you before the game does, or before Muniz's acting makes you want to slit your wrists?
Is it really any worse than the rest of these guys?
Girl has got body karate going on.
Who talks like that?
Now I see why Furbin Perry left his ass.
The group starts the game, with Miller playing from his office, though the game won't actually allow them to start until they've each recited the Prayer of Elizabeth. While they select their characters, the ominous narrating voice explains the overall plot, which October finds very familiar.
Rouge.
You've heard of it?
Yeah, do you remember that Grandma used to tell us that if we didn't get home before dark, we'd get taken off by something?
A game that was almost, but not quite, loosely based on a big fat lie. Who has ever heard of such a thing?
I'm still trying to figure out how all of them are playing the same game from one disc that they didn't even have time to give Miller Boss Guy a copy of before starting this up. This is like DS download play on Crisis 8.
Thus, the game finally commences. Hutch takes his character out for a stroll and encounters one of the undead Cabbage Patch girls.
Muzzle flash, and he's racking it before he fires. It's a crossbow shotgun. Those don't exist. Believe me, if they did, I would own one.
When fear cripples you, when death's shadow surrounds you, drop a rose. It will help you stay alive.
Reminding your players that they need to remain alive in order to complete the game shouldn't be a requisite, but considering everything else this movie has gotten wrong...
From here, we transition through what appears to be a simple but mildly intriguing horror game introduction level to...
Left! God damn it, you noob!
That's not horror. That's not horror. That's action with zombies.
You're expecting them to get the genre right at this point?
It's the genre they're supposed to be playing, so yes! Miller is separated from the group and gets lost down in the labyrinth of tunnels beneath the cemetery. And since he's the only player not with the group, naturally, he locates the rare spawn.
God damn it, man. Man, she got me.
Oh, one of the little girls?
Some woman, man.
Well, he's dead. And since we saw how he died in the game, there's really no reason to prolong the inevitable.
Hey, somebody out there?
Yes, you're doing the whole lurking in the shadows thing that horror movies do. Yes, get on with it.
Anytime now.
You panned away from the actual kill, but you showed us the kill in the gamer world version, which completely ruined any and all suspense and fright when it came to the real version that you didn't show, when you could have just...
The next morning, Hutch arrives at work to find Miller dead and his office sectioned off by the cops. Since this is a horror film, the police aren't so much interested in doing a good job as they are a quick one.
You live close by?
Yeah, uptown, off Magazine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's only 10 minutes away.
Say those figures could place you at the scene of the crime.
Because everyone murders their best friends nowadays. All the cool kids are doing it.
I wonder which method I should use to murder you with then, Decker. What would you prefer?
Hot Asian assassins.
And done.
Female.
Too late.
Female!
Hearing the news about Miller, Phineas says they should honor their fallen comrade by continuing the game. Everyone else, in particular October, calls bullshit on this, but Phineas is a jerkass, as we've established already, so he does it anyway.
Alright, Curtis, let's go. There you are. Oh, you hate mirrors, I forgot. Can't break this one.
Hold the phone. Flipping a mirror around is easy enough to do in real life, but programming a game character to be able to do that, just like... And not to mention the reflections on the silver. That's serious fucking lighting technology going on here. How the hell?
It's just a movie, Decker.
I know that, but it's a bad movie.
Well, I wasn't disagreeing with you there.
At this point, though, the rest of the gang starts to realize that if all of their friends who have died have been murdered after playing this game, they might just be in a shitty horror movie about a killer video game, so they must rush back to make sure Phineas is okay.
Because he's the character we all want to see live to the end.
Finn, oh my god! What are you doing, man?
What is that supposed to be? Dead Man's Toke or Self-Fellatio?
Never mind that. The 420 special is next week.
Unfortunately, though not surprising since this is a horror movie, Phineas is not the only one bouncing the idiot ball around. Hutch breaks back into his office so he can do a Google search on his boss's computer instead of, at home. Through Google, he finds the police records of his friends' deaths.
And your guess is as good as mine on how he managed to access those.
Hollywood hacking. Anyone can do it in film so long as the plot says so.
The point is, Hutch found enough information to piece together the plot for the rest of the characters.
The cops think he was stabbed with shears. Loomis's friends too. Sarah, her body was drained of blood. Loomis's neck was broken and he was hung in the game. They all died the same way they died in the game.
The police report didn't say anything about their saved progress. You don't know how anyone died in the game except your boss.
The uncertainty principle in horror is that the characters aren't sure whether the cause is supernatural or not. Giving the characters this information robs the movie of its gravity and additionally makes it less scary.
Meanwhile, Phineas is driving down the road going somewhere, and...
Close your eyes, I want to see you tonight in my sweet dreams.
Funky. Oh, fuck, stop it! Let me kill this person myself!
He's alone, Decker. Chances are good you're gonna get your wish.
We can only hope at this point. Anyway, Phineas is run off the road by one of the underworld production extras from the cast of Annie, at which point his vehicle somehow mysteriously vanishes. Phineas doesn't care, though, as he's too busy taking a call to notice his apparently supernaturally hijacked car and the ghost carriage barreling down toward him. Thank fuck. I thought that fuckhead would never die.
Do you need to be alone for a moment?
No, creepy. I'm okay. Really okay now.
The survivors arrive on the scene, but it is far too late to save Phineas. Cry me a river over that one. The same cops from earlier show up to grill Hutch on the timely coincidence of another friend of his being dead, despite having no reason to be here. While Detective Thibodeau, played by Wendell Pierce, accuses Hutch, his partner King, played by Rio Hackford, boots Phineas's laptop up, despite Frankie Muniz' character's objections to give the game a try himself.
You've just been told that the people who play this game are all dead, and your reaction is to laugh and then try to play it. Dude, you are asking to be killed.
Oh, you weren't listening.
What did I just tell you? Granted, he died in the game, but by now we all know what that means.
While that was going on, Hutch is over there doing his damnedest to try and get Thibodeau to arrest him.
I wonder how you would feel if that was your friend under that sheet.
From personal experience, I can tell you this is definitely not what you want to tell cops at a crime scene. You see, random threats tend to get them a little arresty. Next, King goes off on his little investigation at Not GameStop, just so the movie can establish that gamers are flippin' weird.
Your wife and kids are driving you nuts. Hey, will something take the edge off? Some with a high frag count, I presume.
Video games are synonymous with drugs. Thanks for that movie.
Good choice. Alienate your target demographic by portraying them in the worst way possible. Everyone who plays video games in this movie is either weird or stereotypical.
Oh yeah, and King's dead too, but we all saw that was coming. Hutch takes Abigail with him to Loomis's house, hoping to uncover some information about Stay Alive. Elsewhere, October does some research on her own, utilizing those strange things with pages in them. It turns out the game's main villain is based on Elizabeth Bathory, a notorious countess known for murdering young girls, and now it seems that her spirit inhabits the game, seeking revenge!
We need to put 3 nails through her heart, neck, and then forehead. An undead soul is only cleansed by burning its blood.
Elizabeth Bathory was Hungarian, not Cajun. She died years before the United States was even a country.
To top that off, October's reading a book from the Inquisition. Does she not realize that the Inquisition got quite a few things wrong?
The cops arrive to arrest October and Muniz's character, but they make a successful run for it, meeting up with Hutch and Abigail at Loomis's house. At this point, the police pretty much give up investigating anything to do with these deaths, leaving our heroes free time to wander around openly in broad daylight.
Hold on. How is she even in any danger? None of them have played the game since Phineas became roadkill.
October and I were talking about this kind of stuff. I don't know, maybe she's onto something.
Where's the game on?
Huh?
The game.
Unplug the game. Take the battery out. It's not complicated.
I didn't turn it on.
Viruses run by themselves. It doesn't make them supernatural. This is just game botting.
Go fuck yourself.
And the one character I liked dies in the dumbest way possible.
Come on, don't fucking leave me, don't. God damn it, please don't do this to me.
I just love how he sits there ordering October to stop bleeding instead of, trying to help her stop bleeding.
Come on, Decker. How many times have you flown into a rage and ordered your characters to stop dying in games?
Fair point. With October dead, the remaining trio load up in their van and roll out to pay a visit to the game developer's house, which they know about thanks to Loomis. Once there, the 3 split off, with Frankie staying behind to play the game so as to keep Elizabeth distracted.
Alright, buddy, you know what to do. Stay alive.
How many title drops did this movie need?
Believe me, I'd love it if we could forget what movie we were watching. Actually, I think the director might have worked that out in advance.
Abigail locates a hidden chamber behind a wardrobe, but instead of taking her to Narnia, she finds a collection of Elizabeth's things. Elizabeth chooses that moment to strike, but with Muniz's help, Hutch is able to fend off the undead countess and her minions.
So, in retaliation, Elizabeth turns her wrath on Frankie Muniz instead.
Bitch, that's cheating! I'm not dead yet!
That's the whole freaking point. This movie can't even keep up with its own rules.
Isn't his chances of surviving supernatural death better if he takes the laptop with him instead of running off into the woods alone?
Well, it's a horror movie. That happens. Hutch realizes that the mansion where the developer lived was actually the Garouche plantation from the game. Finding Muniz's laptop at the game over screen, he and Abigail fear the worst. Gathering up 3 nails from the house and a number of wild roses, the 2 sole survivors march through the cemetery behind the plantation for the tower in the distance.
So the 3 nails that October mentioned aren't items in the game? They're just 3 nails stuck into the house? All in the same place?
Nobody in this movie understands how video games work. We've established this way before now.
Entering the tower, the 2 confront the final dungeon together, having several random encounters along the way, which depletes their supply of roses. This means Abigail, being the only girl left in the movie, gets locked in a room by herself, forcing Hutch to ascend the rest of the tower alone to confront both Elizabeth and his fear of fire.
But first, he has to torture the bitch for a bit.
Tell me, after all this, the whole thing with the 3 nails turned out to be pointless. That was great. He could have just set the fucking tower on fire from the ground and be done with it.
An excellent example of video game and horror movie logic colliding together to form the perfect storm of dumb.
Spotting the shiny chrome Alienware laptop and remembering Elizabeth's hatred of mirrors, Hutch uses it to ward away the Countess long enough to light the tower's highest chamber on fire. Well, and he's dead. It's actually kind of disappointing that we didn't get to see Hutch die in the game first like everyone else. Fuck, after all of that, Muniz is the one to actually save him. How the hell did he stay alive anyway?
I guess that rose tip works in-game and out.
I was looking forward to seeing Muniz die. Can't this movie at least give me that much?
The movie ends on a positive note, with our heroes walking back across the cemetery, having survived their horrific encounter with the unknown and paranormal. However...
Come to me, clouds. May you rise as an evil storm born to rip them open.
Hold on, go back again. That was a freaking Justifier light gun. You know, from the Super Nintendo? Those are Dreamcast controllers. And you mean to tell me that this game is for the fucking PS2? It's supposed to be an MMO. And the PlayStation 3 was out when this movie came out. Or at least when they were making the movie, at least the goddamn Xbox 360. What the...
Decker, the movie's over, remember?
Oh, right. Well, in that case, that was Stay Alive, and it did live up to its name, as it was a challenge to stay alive throughout the viewing. The sad thing is, the concept of the movie, again, isn't a terrible one. The depictions of gamers and game mechanics leave a lot to be desired, to say nothing of the horribly executed references to real video games that come off like the writers picked a copy of Game Informer up and repeated words they found inside it. Why do I have this sneaking suspicion that so many of these game-themed horror movies are made by people who simply aren't gamers?
One major fail in terms of presentation is that we already know in advance how each character will die, based on their deaths in-game. The game's story and setting proved much more engrossing at times, making me wonder if I wouldn't have been better off just watching a Let's Play on YouTube. This failure in storytelling is especially evident as the game falls to the wayside after Phineas's death, with more time spent in the real world instead of where the characters are in the most danger.
You don't have to be scary to be a decent film in horror, though obviously it helps. Like video games, horror can work if the setting is strong and the whole package is at least entertaining. The most horrifying aspects of Stay Alive, however, is that the overall presentation is shit. The angles are okay, and strictly speaking, they work for horror, but combined with the gaming overlap, a lot of the shock value is completely drained out of it.
I can forgive a lot if the story is good enough. There's certainly potential for a great film here, but Stay Alive doesn't deliver on a lot of the concepts and setup. Characters either feel unnecessary, such as Abigail, or unwanted, like Phineas. There's a certain level of guilty pleasure factor in play with this movie, but from a critical standpoint, I rate Stay Alive 1.5 rose droppings out of 5.
There are things to like about this movie, but for everything I find them at least okay with, there's 5 more that make me want to scream. Making a video game horror movie that's most fantastic quality is the shotgun crossbow, and trying to convince the audience that Elizabeth Bathory built her tower in Louisiana will do that to you. Some movies can be so bad they're good, but to me, Stay Alive needs to stay away, coming in at 1 oh-so-satisfying dead Phineas out of 5. It's not the worst movie I've seen, but let's be real here, I've seen some real shit in my time. Thank you all for watching, I've been Dr. Shado, and remember, subscribe to Creepy's new channel!
Wow, you are really losing your touch when it comes to these send-off lines.
I figured it's the least I could do. I mean, it's good to have you back after all, and it's been really kind of weird without you. Trying to hold people's attention on live streams by myself is quite a challenge.
That's fair. So, when do I get paid for all of this help that I'm giving you? YouTube and Patreon, right?
Nothing worth mentioning.
Bye.